everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk about Black History Month. The month that is a celebration of my people, because I am a black man and everything. And it's about all our accomplishments, all the oppression that we have gone through over like centuries of living in like America and stuff like that. And even till this day, we are still being oppressed. And so I'm here today to talk to you about certain characters or TV shows or episodes that revolve around Black History Month that I personally enjoy. So I'm here today to talk to you about Black Panther, the animated series. So many of you have probably never even heard of this series. And it's because Marvel has pretty much like want you to like forget all about this series. This is one of those forgotten series. And they want you to forget about it because they won't even put this on Disney Plus. And every Marvel animated anything, even from back in the 70s and 60s, is on Disney Plus. And the reason why they want you to forget about it, because one, when making this, they simply just did not care. Period. They ain't put no thought, no good effort into nothing. Also, this series is completely crappy. This is not a good series whatsoever. When I say it's crap, boy, I mean it's crap. Like, okay, first of all, the animation isn't even your traditional animation. It's not 2D, it's not 3D, it's a stop motion comic. And if you've never seen a stop motion comic, basically it looks like a comic book and it looks like the characters are moving in a very like photoshoppy flash kind of way. It's choppy, it's crude, there's barely any movement. There's no fluidity in it, like none of that stuff. And it's quite a shame. Because I remember, so this is how, like, when I say Marvel didn't care about this series, I mean they didn't even care. They barely advertised this. Like, okay, I remember back when I was in college and I was researching this because X-Men The Last Stand had just came out. They had done a bunch of Marvel animated movies, and Ultimate Avengers Rise of the Black Panther had came out many years before this came out, about almost a decade, right? And so I was researching Black Panther, and they were talking about how this is going to be like they're gonna make their own Black Panther like animated series. I'm like, cool, you know what I'm saying? The first black superhero. I remember seeing him in like the animated movie. I remember seeing him in like a couple of animated shows back in the day. And like the Fantastic Four and something, this would be awesome and everything, right? And so like I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited. So I'm like, where the heck is this cartoon at? How come it hasn't come out yet? And so as I did more research online, it turns out that okay, it's an American cartoon, but it came out in Australia first. It came out in 2010 in Australia. Then a year later in 2011, it finally made its way to America and they put it on BET. Not many people knew about that because they did not advertise it. They didn't even let people know it was going to be on BET. But in 2018, they decided to upload it to the Marvel YouTube channel. So all the episodes are free. There are 6 episodes and they're 20 minutes long. And so it's kind of like we couldn't even get the cartoon first. Australia had to get it first. And Australia got it first on the DVD. And we got ours a year late on DVD. And it's just kind of like, what the world, man? And so, like, this is nothing new by Marvel. I mean, come on. Fillmore, Aladdin, The Jersey, none of those shows are on Disney Plus. Um, and so I remember when I did watch this, I remember thinking to myself, this cartoon is very crappy. Like, okay, the animation actually does look, okay, when I say animation, I mean the way it's drawn. Like the characters and the setting. It looks cool. It has this African like vibe to it. Um, so the animation looks good. The voice cast is great, except for Captain America. He sounds evil and he sounds like a snake. Uh, I'm not even joking. The dude sounds has this gritty texture to his voice. He sounds evil. Um, so it has a nice voice cast. It has nice animation. It's just the fluidity of the animation is crap because it's a stop motion and everything. And I remember thinking to myself, because when I did more research, the other stop motion things they did, all of those other cartoon series at some point in time in the past had their own real animated series. And I'm just like, what the world, man? Like, they're so, like, okay, when you look at their animation stuff, there's been about, and this includes the American and anime from Japan. There's been about 4 or 5 different X-Men cartoons. There's about 5, 6, probably 7 different Spider-Man cartoons. There's about 4 Iron Man cartoons, about 3 Fantastic Four, and about 4 or 5 like Avengers like cartoons, and 2 different Hulks. And I'm just like, y'all couldn't even give Black Panther, the very first black superhero, not even his own real true animated series where it looks like a real cartoon, but y'all had to give him stop motion animation. And not only that, but you didn't advertise it, and another country got it first. And it came on a channel nobody even like knew about because y'all didn't advertise, and it's because they did not care. They had no faith in it. They assumed because he's a black superhero, nobody would care. It's kind of like the Blade animated series. Yes, that is this. But the Blade animated series is a anime, and it's not a very good anime in my opinion. It's just it feels weird. He doesn't even like the vampires he fight don't even look like vampires and stuff. And there's other like monsters and demons, and he has like this female sidekick who is annoying and everything. And I'm just like, why'd y'all do this for? Like the X-Men and the Iron Man animated series, those were great. So why couldn't y'all give like something good to Blade and stuff like that? And it's because they don't care. Because they assume nobody's gonna want to watch and everything. I mean, my God, look how long it took for the live action Black Panther to finally make his way to theaters. Like, he had to get introduced into phase 2 of the MCU. And he couldn't even have his own solo movie first. He first had to appear in like other people movies and stuff. I mean, and not only that, but look how long it took for Black Widow to get her own movie and stuff. And when Miles Morales, like the only reason why he even got his own movie is because Amy Pascal pissed off black folks and stuff. And it's just like when it comes to Into the Spider-Verse and Black Panther 2, look how far apart it is from their original movie. Like, it took years for them to come out. They haven't even came out yet. But look at all the white superheroes. Thor, Iron Man, Captain America. Those movies come out within like 2 years of each other and stuff. And that's including the VFX and stuff. And it's because they cater more to their mainstream audience, which is, of course, white people and stuff. But they underestimated Black Panther when it came out in theaters. It was the highest rated Marvel movie at that time. But once again, they didn't even care because look at the third act. The third act CGI looks like that of a video game and cheaper than a video game. And it's because they did not care. And when it actually comes to these actual episodes, when I say it's bad, I mean it's bad. Okay, the pacing and direction is very choppy. It just cuts from one scene to a completely different one. It bounces around different time zones, flashbacks last way too long to where they take up majority of the episode. And not only that, but like they explain everything, especially when it's in flashback. All we hear people tell us stuff, and they do show us too as they're telling us, but it's kind of like we don't need that many flashbacks, and it would be nice just to see something play out without you narrating and stuff. And they do that in every episode. And like it's not, and the dialogue is terrible. The dialogue is terrible. And this show is an embarrassment. And it's an embarrassment to the black community. It's an embarrassment to Black Panther. It's an embarrassment to the first black superhero. This show is just an embarrassment. And I know what you're saying. Well, I thought your video was supposed to be like a celebration of Black History Month. I know they are supposed to be that. But I want to point out how Marvel didn't care and how they let the black audience and how they let the black first superhero down and everything. Because other stuff they do comes out great, but when it came to this, they like, we don't care and everything. And not only that, but see, this thing was made with their Marvel Knight series. And so when it comes to the actual episode, like I'll explain like the first episode. So like the first episode, right? This show is actually pretty dark and gritty. And I mean, it's not your typical Marvel cartoon series. They cuss, they have blood, they kill folks, they put people's heads on pikes. I'm not joking. So in the first episode, we get introduced to 4 different Black Panthers from all different time zones. One, we only hear his voice and don't see it from the 5th century. So there's a tribe of African people. They want to attack the Wakandan people, but they get attacked by the Black Panther and his people, but we never see him. Then it cuts to like the present day, and it cuts from that to say like a bunch of military people in America at the White House and stuff like that. And they're talking about Wakanda and how nobody's never really heard of them. They're so secretive. They're very superior in technology, this and that. Stan Lee is in this episode. He has a small role. Sadly, Stan Lee plays a racist white military general. I kid you not. May he rest in peace, but why the world did you take that role for, man? And I mean, that dude is racist. And so they're talking about Wakanda, like I said before, and how one of their own went to Wakanda and underestimated them is Captain America. So now we cut to Captain America parachuting down to Wakanda in a flashback. This happened 15 years from the present day. And he went up against T'Challa's dad, T'Chaka. And so basically he was in Africa trying to stop the Nazis from getting vibranium. But he's roaming through the jungle, and what does he see? A bunch of severed heads on pikes. And they show that too. And then he meets T'Chaka, which is T'Challa's dad, the Black Panther. And he does not want him there. He does not want outsiders. So basically what happens? He whoops the snot out of Captain America. And so like, then it cuts back to like the military people. And then it cuts from that to the modern day Wakanda. And we see the Black Panther. It's the day where they get to pick a new king, where you get to challenge him, right? And so we see that. And so Shuri, because this is still the modern day, like, Black Panther story. So Shuri gets to be in here from the newer comics. The Dora Milaje get to be in here. And Shuri wants to be the new queen of Wakanda. She wants to fight the Black Panther dude. Her mom doesn't want her to. She sneaks out. When she tries to go there, the Black Panther is so strong, he takes this guy, throws him over the ring, and it lands on Shuri. So then another challenger goes up to fight him, and he beats him. Well, also her cousin tried, and he got his butt whooped by the Black Panther. And then, so the new challenger tries, and he wins. Who is it? Who you think? T'Challa and everything. Who was the original Black Panther? It was not his dad. 'Cause we found out in the second episode his dad gets assassinated. It's his uncle and everything. So his cousin is pissed. And Shuri's pissed too. So, and this is what the thing about this. T'Challa doesn't even show up to the very end of the episode. And he never says anything. And in the second episode, he barely says anything too. He barely does anything in this entire series. It's mostly just flashbacks of other people and Ulysses Claw running off the mouth and talking. And it's just like your own main character doesn't even show up to the very end of the episode and he doesn't even say not one word. And so he's now the new Black Panther. And Ulysses Claw, like, also in that episode, we get Ulysses Claw, we get some flashbacks of some man getting creative with some kind of technology and all kind of weird stuff. So it keeps like bouncing around and it's like very distracting. And then in the second episode, like there's a cameo from the X-Men because Juggernaut gets recruited, who? By Ulysses Claw. Ulysses Claw basically wants revenge after assassinating the original Black Panther because he took his eye and he took his hand. And so now he has his robotic hand and he wants to kill the new Black Panther. So he assembles a team of Batroc the Leaper, Vulcan, Black Knight, and like Juggernaut and the Radioactive Man. And it's just like, so it's basically just them trying to take down the Wakandan people and T'Challa. And like I said, it's lackluster, it's boring, it's uninteresting. And they keep, and throughout the entire series, they keep going into flashbacks. The second episode, my God, it was a boring, racist flashback of Ulysses Claw in Africa and somebody else there in Africa. And the dude who's there in Africa, the man literally calls them monkeys. Yes. And it's just like one insult after another. I'm just like, my God, what the world am I watching? And it takes up for the entire episode of that flashback. And I'm just like, man, I've had enough. Like, I tried to rewatch it, the whole thing again to do this review, but I just can't do it no more. I watched the whole thing years ago, and that's just going to have to be that. And it's like I said before, it's a shame that Marvel did this, and they only did this because they did not care. They had no faith, and they assumed people would be uninterested in it. And it's really, really a shame because this could have been a great cartoon series and people deserve more. Like, people deserve to be represented and not like this and not in a stop motion comic like animation. And it's just, I just can't even begin to say anything else. It's just a terrible series, and Marvel needs to be ashamed of themselves. Like I said before, it is on YouTube. It is totally free. Just check it out. It's Black Panther, the animated series. The intro is cool. I'll give them that, and it has cool music. But other than that, it's just not good, like whatsoever. Happy Black History Month, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.